Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Maddie here, and today we're going to be showcasing what I believe is the strongest new archetype and new deck to come to Pokemon TCG Pocket, and that is going to be Buzzwole EX. Of course, this is the Pokemon that's on, the pack art. It's kind of the poster child of this particular mini set, ED Crisis. I love the name, by the way. Buzzwole EX. It's really, really strong, and I actually do think it'll probably end up being the strongest new archetype. There are some other contenders. Tapu Koko with the new tool card is certainly really strong. I like Lycanroc, even Blacephalon has some potential. And there's definitely going to be some Guzzlord decks out there. But I do think that Buzzlord is kind of leading the charge. Or not Buzzlord, but Buzzwoll. That would be funny if his name was Buzzlord. I do think it's kind of leading the charge. And I do think that this will be kind of the most popular and the strongest sort of brand new archetype that we're getting in the expansion. Let's quickly go over the deck list. And then we are going to go and hop into some games. And we're going to showcase exactly what this deck can do. It's been really fun, really consistent, and honestly really strong with all of the great support that not only Ultra Beasts have in Pokemon Pocket that came out in this new set, but all of the grass type support, which we've already had in Pokemon Pocket, really makes this deck something that people are going to have to definitely look out for. So the main culprit here for this deck list, of course, Buzzwoll, 140 HP basic EX Pokemon, and it does Big Beat. Predominantly 120 damage for 3 energies. During our next turn, this Pokemon cannot use Big Beat. Now, one thing I will say is that a core mechanic for this deck is what we're going to be calling a double pivot. So whenever a Pokemon has any kind of effect on it, you can actually move it out of the active spot to your bench, and then every single type of effect that is on that Pokemon gets wiped. So that includes this downturn effect from Big Beat. So we can attack, and then on our following turn, we can go to the bench and then double pivot back into the active spot, and then Big Beat again with the same Buzzwole. Multiple different ways for us to do that. It's actually very consistent. I know some people thought this card maybe wouldn't be able to attack multiple times in a row consistently, but it definitely can. Let's talk about that. We're also pairing it with Pheromosa. This is a really strong new leadoff Pokemon. It's also an Ultra Beast, so effectively has free retreat when Celesteela is on the bench, which we will talk about. But Jump Blues is the attack here. Again, it's a non-EX basic grass Pokemon, so we can attach Leaf Cape to it, go to 100 HP. We can also use Erika's with it, but Jump Blues is really strong. 20 damage to the active and then one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. We are actually pairing this deck with 2 Pheromosas and then 2 copies of Cyrus, which does put a lot of early control on our opponent, but also just gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of which Pokemon we want to target. Also, we can kind of use it in a double pivot combination sometimes if we need to, so keep that in mind. The retreat cost of 1 on Pheromosa is certainly going to be pretty relevant. And then the next Pokemon, which kind of makes this whole deck work, is Celesteela, a phenomenal Pokemon with the Ultra Thrusters ability, one of the greatest ability names of all time. This card art, by the way, is insane. This is like some, I don't even know, it's like some security cam footage. This is crazy. This is like a super trippy card art. But either way, Ultra Thrusters. Once during our turn, we may switch our active Ultra Beast with one of our benched Ultra Beast Pokemon, and that is once per Celesteela. So if we do have 2 Celesteelas on the bench, we can basically double pivot for free just super easily. A really strong Pokemon. Also, the attack does do 100 damage for 3 energies, but we have to flip a coin and get heads. If tails, it does nothing. So the attack isn't necessarily what we're going to be using with Celesteela, mostly the ability. But yeah, when you pair all of these Pokemon together, you get a strategy that allows you to basically ramp up very consistently, do some strong early damage and early pressure, and then attack turn after turn after turn with an otherwise really consistent and strong Buzzwoll EX. Now, some of the other cards that are in this deck list are going to be 2 copies of Pokeball, of course, 2 copies of Professor's Research, and then we also have 2 copies of Leaf Cape. This is going to bring our grass Pokemon up to 30, plus 30 on their HP. So it'll bring Buzzwole from 140 to 170, bring Pheromosa up to 100. Definitely really useful. This is certainly, I think, a little bit more of, protection against, bringing in your first Buzzwole, because there is another tool card, which did come out in the ED Crisis set, and that is going to be Beastite, I think is how we say this card. This card is crazy. It's an extra damage modification for Ultra Beast Pokemon specifically. Attacks used by Ultra Beast this card is attached to do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon for each point that you have gotten. So this is certainly something we're going to be attaching to maybe, one of our attacking Pokemon later in the game if we've already taken a KO, potentially boosting the damage that we're doing by with Buzzwole by 20, hitting for 140, plus some extra damage modifiers which we have in the deck, being red, which allows us to hit up from 140 to 160, and that is, of course, going to be really strong, hitting some Pokemon for weakness to take KOs. Definitely a really strong combo there. Some of the other trainers that we have in the deck are, of course, like I said, 2 copies of Cyrus, I think just kind of makes a lot of sense when you're playing Pheromosa. We also have one copy of Dawn, and Dawn is actually a really good card when you pair it with Celesteela, because we can oftentimes retreat out for free. We can then kind of, I guess, get extra energies on whatever Pokemon we want to. It's mainly here for the scenario where if we are going second and we're leading with Pheromosa, we're going to, of course, put it in the active spot, attach to it, and attack for a couple of turns. However, on our second turn, or on our third turn rather, we can still get that 3 energies onto Buzzwoll by attaching, using Ultra Thrusters to go into Buzzwoll, then playing Dawn and moving that energy onto it. So definitely going to be somewhat useful, somewhat niche, but it does pair pretty well with Celesteela. So I have been playing it, and I think it's been working out pretty well for me. And then we also have Lusamine, which allows us to accelerate additional energies to one of our Ultra Beasts from our discard pile, as long as our opponent has taken a point already. So the whole idea with Lusamine is that it's going to be used to set up our second Buzzwoll, or just another attacking Pokemon late in the game after one of our Pokemon gets KO'd. Certainly really good. We only have one copy of Lusamine because this is a card that we're using late in the game, and it doesn't really provide value early on. Most of the time, by the time we need to play Lusamine, it should be in our hands. So you could make a case for needing 2 copies of it. I think it's certainly a really good card, but we're going to be trying 1 copy of it. We have 1 copy of Erica's, and then 1 copy of Pokemon Center Lady, because Poison is certainly something that's very common in the format right now with the new Nihilego card. So 1 Erica's and 1 Pokemon Center Lady. This is the deck list, guys. I think that it'll probably change around a little bit. This is a long intro. You guys can probably skip to the gameplay, but I wanted to go over the deck list, of course. I think that the deck list will probably change quite a bit as the weeks go on, but one thing is for sure is that this combination, this archetype, is certainly going to be quite strong. It's been doing pretty well in this first day of like small online competitions. There's a larger tournament today, which I am curious to see how well it does. It, of course, is going to be really strong against a variety of different decks in the format, but will struggle against some of those fire decks, things like Charizard or even the new Blacephalon. So it's not without its counters, but is definitely, in my mind, kind of the top contender for strongest new deck in Pokemon Pocket. So anyway, there it is. That's the deck profile. Let's hop into some gameplay. We are not on the ranked ladder right now because I don't think the ranked season has started yet. But anyway, let's just play some random games. You never really know, I guess, like what our opponents are going to be playing. When you're not in ranked mode, you're playing just random matches, you could get some crazy decks. But should be really interesting to see, I guess, how Buzzwole performs against like a variety of random decks. I'm going to try to get a handful of gameplay here for this video. I don't like to edit out a lot of videos, so or edit out a lot of like the gameplay. So, you know, whether or not kind of we do well in this video is, again, it's going to be a small sample size. So we may just lose every game. We might just win a bunch of games. We are going to be staring down one of the new type Null, which is certainly a really fun new Pokemon. Can do 100 damage for 2 energies when you evolve into Sylvally. You can use Gladion to find that Sylvally. It's a pretty cool Pokemon. We are going to be going second, which is certainly an advantage for us. We have Red, Cyrus, and Lusamine and Pokeball in the hand. So this deck list is, again, all basic Pokemon, which does make it a little bit more consistent. However, we are reliant on getting multiple different Pokemon on our bench, right? We kind of need, like, Buzzwoll, we need Pheromosa, and we also need Celesteela. We see that this Sylvally deck is actually going to be playing Arceus and Giratina, which is certainly a bit scary. He gets a full bench on turn 1, gets the Rocky Helmet onto type Null, and then he is going to go ahead and just Broken Space Bella with the Giratina. So it's probably smart. Oh, the research is certainly really good. I'm actually going to play the Pokeball first because we're not playing any evolution Pokemon. I would rather increase my odds of getting some type of basic Pokemon. We do want to get the Buzzwole out fairly early. Drawing into a Dawn could be fairly good as well. That Celesteela definitely really good. Let's play the research. There's our Buzzwole, 2 of them actually, which is actually kind of everything that we want, which is pretty cool. So both of us are going to get our full board states all set up. The Rocky Helmet is a little bit scary, I'm not going to lie. We don't have any Dawn in our hand yet, but we should be a couple turns safe from getting KO'd unless we do see a Sylvally on like the next 2 turns. But I am going to go ahead and still hit the active for 20, and then I am going to target this Giratina. This is something with Cyrus in our hand we're probably going to want to try to take a KO with early because it's kind of a scary Pokemon. We are going to take a little bit of damage here. Not that it really matters. I guess he is going to be able to hit for 40 this turn, so that does, I guess, limit our opportunities. He is actually going to play the Dawn, so we could potentially see a turn. Yes, we are. Well, that is crazy. Okay, so the Dawn combo is nuts. So this is actually really, really, really strong. Something that I think is kind of underrated with Sylvally is how powerful it really is. Unfortunately, now our energy gets discarded. Our opponent just had like the Infinity Stones on his opening hand. He led with type Null, had Sylvally, had the Giratina, and had Dawn. So that is an incredible combo from our opponent. Really, really strong. I guess kind of showcases exactly what Sylvally can do. Certainly pretty fortunate from him, but what we're going to do here is go ahead, play the Celesteela, and I'm just going to go ahead and bench, or not bench, but attach to the bench Buzzwole. And I am actually just going to go ahead and immediately play this Lusamine and get that energy that was from our discard pile just straight up onto this Buzzwole. Like no questions asked. We're just immediately getting into it. And yeah, so Leaf Cape could certainly be something that we're kind of looking out for right now. Our opponent is probably going to attack us. However, it might even be smarter for him not to attack because, of course, this Rocky Helmet is going to make things a bit interesting. But what we can do is just immediately bring up this Giratina, which should give us a little bit of leeway. But because he did take an early KO on the Pheromosa, oh, there's the Beastite as well, which I actually do quite like, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, I think what we're definitely going to do here is put that energy onto Buzzwole, and then we're going to just Ultra Thrusters immediately into it. And because we have 2 Celesteela, we should be able to just attack with this Buzzwole fairly easily. We already played our 1 Lusamine in the deck list, but I'm going to go ahead and immediately just attach right here to the Buzzwole. Just like that. And then we're not going to bring up the Giratina yet because Beastite isn't actually giving us any damage boost because we haven't taken any points yet. So kind of what we're forced to do right now is basically just attack the Sylvally, take the KO here with Big Beat, and then we can double pivot, play Cyrus, and then KO the Giratina. Because we took 1 point, Beastite, unless we get Guzman, is going to bring our damage up to 130. So again, a good illustration of how important Beastite really is to the stack. We also have Red in hand, but it allows us to have that damage modification while playing Cyrus in the same turn. Our opponent definitely going to bring up Arceus here, so we don't even need to play Cyrus. We could literally just play Red, and that'll be enough to take the KO as well. But I think we might do the Cyrus play anyway, because it could be pretty fun. We'll see exactly what our opponent does here. Maybe he attaches a giant cape to the active. You never know. But this is really kind of the upside to playing Buzzwole. I think the Ultra Beasts have so much support, just like a ton of support, that it really allows them to be a bit better than the cards themselves really are. So yeah, okay, so let's just go ahead and showcase it, right? So we have Cyrus. Let's bring up the Giratina. I know this is kind of a BM. We don't have to do this. We could just play Red. But because we did take the KO and we've taken 1 point, Buzzwole will actually be doing 130 damage to this Giratina. Oh, we have to double pivot. I totally forgot. I was a little bit afraid there. I was like, wait a minute. It's going to be a little bit awkward at first because it's not something that we've had before. So I'm going to forget a bunch that we have to double pivot. Our opponent, of course, realizes that we have the KO, and that's going to be the game. So really, really fun. He didn't allow us to get it going, but we could have just used Celesteela, the other one, and pivoted yet again for free and gone back into that same Buzzwole and then attacked. So that's what would have happened. Our opponent surrendered. But anyway, yeah, there it is. Buzzwole, really, really strong. Even though we got absolutely blitzed on our second turn with that crazy Sylvally combo, really just showcasing how strong Buzzwole really is. And even that 1 energy, right? Even that single energy that we brought back from the discard pile with Lusamine was enough to give us enough pace to kind of win the game, which is certainly really, really, really cool. We also play 1 copy of Dawn in our deck as well for scenarios where Pheromosa doesn't get KO'd. You could definitely make the case that 2 Lusamine might be worth playing. But at the same time, like if, Pheromosa goes down, then, we only have 1 Buzzwole left. You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't really need more than 1 copy of Lusamine. It's just, you would play 2 copies to make sure that you have it when you need it. But again, it's something that you're probably going to have. Again, we also have Lusamine once again. We are going to play Pokeball first. Actually, no, we're going to play Research first. I think we did that incorrectly last turn or last game for whatever the reason. I think I just got my brain mixed around. We should Research first and then Pokeball. I don't remember if we did that last time, but that's probably what we should be doing to increase our odds to getting our Pokemon. And yes, we are going first this game, which is a little bit unfortunate. And it looks like we're playing against a Wugtrio deck, which is always kind of fun. We're going to leave Celesteela in the active spot this turn. We have Erica's, Lusamine, Cyrus, and Pokemon Center Lady in the hand. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and not do anything. We're going to stay in the active spot with Celesteela. 120 HP is quite a bit, I'm not going to lie. So for a Pokemon that really is just kind of there to soak up some damage and to be a support Pokemon on the bench, it's really good. Like Celesteela being just always a free pivot when it's in the active spot makes it incredible as basically a Pokemon that you can throw in your deck for honestly like no downside, which is pretty cool. We are going to be seeing Skarmory and Wugtrio, or not Wugtrio, it's just Dugtrio, right? It's a Alolan Dugtrio. Here comes the Rocky Helmet. He also plays Research, so our opponent's drawn through his deck here. Doing pretty good. Now, this Diglett is actually kind of crazy. Like 40 damage, potentially, for 1 energy is kind of nuts, I'm not going to lie. He might do 0, but if he does do 40, that is, again, pretty substantial. Yeah, there it is. 40 damage is kind of nuts. I know it's a coin flip, but I mean, still, certainly not that bad. That's for sure. I'm kind of just hoping that he doesn't have, let's think about this a little bit, right? I think, honestly, we kind of just hope that he doesn't have doesn't have like Dugtrio. I think honestly, like I kind of want to go into Pheromosa and get some damage off at the same time. But I don't know if it's really worth it. We could just start attaching directly to Buzzwoll here. I mean, he's got 10 cards in deck. Do we really think he has it this turn? He could very well have it in his 2-card hand. You know, it's a good question. I think honestly, what I'm going to do here is, I think we're just gonna wait it out because there's no reason to go into Pheromosa yet, quite honestly. So we're just gonna kind of hang out. We're not gonna actually do anything. This is the scenario where we go first and we're kind of just behind on energy. It can feel a little bit tough, I'm not gonna lie. And then if we don't draw into red, we can't always just go into Pheromosa, attack, and then kind of do our thing, right? We also do have Lusamine in our hand. Yeah, so there's the Dugtrio, which is definitely a little bit unfortunate, I'm not going to lie. But it shouldn't actually matter that much. Even if he KOs Celesteela here, we'll go into Pheromosa, we'll attach, we'll do some damage as long as he doesn't heal it up. And then we have Lusamine in hand to then accelerate those energies to Buzzwoll. Now, we won't be able to attack turn after turn unless we get, again, some more Pokemon on our bench. But it's really not the end of the world. I know it doesn't seem like we're in a great spot here, and I guess technically we're not. But we're not in like a terrible position. So there's the Leaf Cape as well. I think Leaf Cape is probably going to go down on the Buzzwoll here. It doesn't actually make any sense for us to put it onto Pheromosa right now because it doesn't, like, he's either doing 60, 120, or 180, so none of those thresholds really do anything for us. Let's just go ahead, attach to Pheromosa. Like I said, we do have Lusamine in our hand, and we're going to target the Skarmory. Actually, let's target the other Diglett in case he evolves that one as well. Putting technically both of these Dugtrios in range of getting KO'd by Buzzwoll, which is certainly pretty relevant. If he does flip 3 heads, he still does KO Buzzwoll, unfortunately, even with Leaf Cape. But let's see if he has a Sabrina. That could be certainly very unfortunate. That would be like the worst case scenario for us. Or Repel. Repel is a new item card that does the same thing. So actually very likely for these decks to have sort of these Sabrina plays. He doesn't, which is certainly good. How many heads does he flip here? We actually kind of want him to KO, and he doesn't. Okay, that's still fine. If we have a Celesteela, we can attack this turn. We just don't have a way to pivot. We draw Research. Okay, so we can't Dawn this turn, but that's, again, honestly kind of fine. I'm not too worried about it. Let's just play Research. And we see the red come down and another Buzzwoll. Okay, so that's fine. Let's just go ahead, play the Buzzwoll. And I guess we could split energies here just because it wouldn't really matter that much. Do we want to do that? Yeah, because we have Dawn in our hand. I guess he could heal. I'm not going to split the energies. That might be a bad play, but we're not going to split them anyway. Let's just jump lose again. I'm also going to target this Wiglet because we can KO Skarmory regardless. So we also could technically, if he whiffs again, if he gets 3 tails again, honestly, like if it would have been better for him to just, for him to just KO Pheromosa last turn, because then we could have just KO'd with Buzzwoll, but you know, it is what it is. Here comes Pokemon Center, ladies. So like we said, that healing is certainly a factor. However, even if he evolves this Diglett, he will still be in range for sure, which is good. He's going to get the two energies on the bench, Diglett, and hopefully just KO us. So here comes the Repel, exactly like what we kind of thought would happen, honestly. And that is certainly a little bit unfortunate for us. How many cards do we have in deck? 6 cards in deck. 1 Pokeball, 1 Celesteela. I guess technically we could... this is like what would happen, right? Because we didn't split the energies. I guess we kind of have to just go into this Buzzwoll and hope that he doesn't KO. Obviously, if he does, then we lose. But to be fair, if we go into this Buzzwoll, we don't have any guarantee that we're going to be able to retreat out. So let's see. Okay, he does do 120, and that is certainly a bit unfortunate. I'm not going to lie, right? That's tough. That basically means that, you know, if he does find Wugtrio, we could certainly get KO'd, and we top deck the Pokeball. Of course we do. You know, why wouldn't we? All right, and it's Pheromosa anyway. It didn't even end up being Celesteela, which is kind of funny. Okay, so yeah, I think what we're forced to do here is just attach. We really do kind of want Celesteela, though. That is certainly something. Let's just Erica's up to 100 damage. This will bring us to 80, so we got to get a little bit lucky next turn, but at least we're not going down to Skarmory, which is certainly relevant. I'm not going to bench that Pheromosa, and let's just big beat. Let's just do it. Now, our opponent has already taken a KO, so that means that we can't just actually retreat into this Buzzwoll, and then... you know, use Lusamine. So I guess maybe we probably should have split the energies in that sense. Trying to think. I mean, yeah, maybe splitting energies was better. I don't know. He goes into the Diglett, so let's see if he draws into the Wugtrio. That's really all this comes down to. Him having the Repel was super clutch, for sure. We have been a turn behind, of course, just simply off the fact that we went first. We're going to see a Team Rocket Grunt. Again, this really doesn't matter because we have Lusamine. Let's see how many he flips. He does flip one, but unfortunately, because we have Lusamine in our hand, we can just sort of, even if he flipped all 3 heads, we would have been able to build up this, this Buzzwole in 1 turn. He flips tails, does nothing. Very unfortunate for our opponent there. Of course, we do need to retreat out, though, right? Because we can't Big Beat again. So what we're going to do is just retreat, manually discard those energies into our other Buzzwole. And because we have Lusamine, we can just bring those right back. So that's going to be 2 grass energies onto the Buzzwole. We're going to do it like this. And then I guess we'll just attach Beastite as well just to show them that we had it to do 130 regardless. So there it is. Back-to-back wins. It's actually 140 because we've taken 2 points. So there you go. Buzzwole, insane. 2-0 against, some decks. Like Dugtrio. Alolan Dugtrio is not a bad Pokemon, but it's, I don't know. It doesn't feel that great to me. RNG is RNG, Even though technically it's 2 energies to attack, potentially for 180, which is really strong. That definitely gives it like a bit of an upside. I don't know. I think that Alolan Dugtrio is certainly a pretty good Pokemon, but I don't know if it's going to be like that good. I don't know. Like we have Solgaleo, we do have Skarmory. I don't know. I think it's okay. Giant Cape does bring you up to like 150, so I don't know. Maybe it could be fine. 2-0 though with Buzzwole, so at least we're showcasing at least what the deck can do. We've gone second, we've gone first, we've used Lusamine plenty of different times here. I think we've gotten a little bit lucky drawing Lusamine, not gonna lie, but we also start with it once again. So yeah, that's the cool thing about this deck is that it just kind of feels really consistent. Again, all basic Pokemon that provide value, no matter kind of which ones you draw. And then really all of our supporter cards also provide value. It looks like we're going against Garchomp, which again should be favored for us. Theoretically, although we are going first, should be favored for us in the sense that we are grass type. And we draw the Celesteela right off the Pokeball. Certainly really good. We're definitely going to bench that. Let's just sort of do our thing. We could have actually just brought in Celesteela there to take the damage and not let Pheromosa take the damage. I mean, I guess it kind of matters. Maybe not. Maybe it did. Playing the Dragon Gibble, so he's not weak to grass. That is certainly relevant. And he benches the Fossil. So this is going to be a scenario where I do think Pheromosa has some potential value, where I think it's a little bit underrated for sure. There comes the second Buzzwole. We're not going to bench that yet, but we are just going to go ahead, attach to Pheromosa. Yeah, the 50 HP is a little bit sketchy. I kind of think that we maybe should have gone into Celesteela last turn. That way Pheromosa wouldn't have gotten KO'd. So keep that in mind. Definitely probably a misplay. We probably should have just immediately gone into Celesteela and then gone back into Pheromosa this turn. It's all right. We'll see if we get punished for it. He could Rare Candy Garchomp and take the KO. That would be unfortunate. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Could be a Red Bardos. No, it's the Garchomp. Of course it is. All good. Honestly, no stress whatsoever. I'm not too worried about it. He might even target the Buzzwole here, which would be kind of a crazy play. Is he going to? He's not. Okay, he's definitely just going to take the kill on the Pheromosa. I think that's fine. Honestly, I'm not too upset about that. Now, we are, again, also in a little bit of an awkward spot in the sense that, of course, well, I guess if this is Pheromosa, we're really not in a bad spot whatsoever. Pheromosa? Oh, it's okay. It's Celesteela. Okay, because Pheromosa would have been crazy. We could have done more damage to the Garchomp and then, done our thing there. So that could have been pretty cool. But, yeah. Anyway, let's bench the Celesteela just to protect ourselves from, like, a Sabrina. And, yeah, I think we just attached a Buzzwole. Now, unfortunately, because we only got one attack off with Pheromosa, and we definitely did misplay there in retrospect. So, you guys can call me out on that. We certainly did misplay. We should have gone into Celesteela first. I should have known. I should have known the turn 2 Garchomp was coming. He can hit for 100 damage here. There is also the Cranidos, which is, again, a little bit scary. I'm not going to lie. I think I would rather probably... Yeah, he's just going to hit the Celesteela. That's totally fine. No worries there. The Beastite is kind of cool. And we have Cyrus. So, yeah, I think that's actually the play here. So, okay, we might be doing something kind of crazy. Let's go ahead. Lusamine to the Buzzwole. We're going to go ahead, put 3 energies onto it. We are going to Beastite. Now, the unfortunate thing, actually, though, is that we can't Lusamine and Cyrus in the same turn. So that is certainly a bit of a downside. But, what we can do, though, is Ultra Thrusters. I just don't really want to attack this Garchomp yet. I would rather just kind of bring up the Cranidos and KO it next turn, honestly. I know that maybe doesn't seem like a great idea, but I do want to do that. So, yeah. Let's go ahead, bench the Buzzwole. This is a scenario, too, where maybe having a second Lusamine might be better. Yeah, I'm going to bench this Buzzwool. And then we're going to just kind of ride out. I am actually just going to quickly attach this to this Buzzwool here. We're kind of hoping to draw into red, although we have 9 cards in our deck, but red technically would be an out. We can also get a second Buzzwool set up in the meantime. Again, Dawn does also work transferring between Buzzwools, right? So theoretically, all we need is like 1 energy on this next turn, and then we can kind of pivot. So we definitely still have a chance. The Beastite certainly might do it for us. We just have to wait and see if things kind of work out the way that we want them to. Yeah, he's going to target the Buzzwool now. That's definitely the smart play. We draw the Research. Okay. So that is unfortunate. No like healing this turn. Definitely quite bad. Another Research and then Leaf Cape. Okay. All right. So we're definitely in a very awkward position here. But I guess it's not the end of the world. It kind of is, actually. Garchomp is just, it's crazy early pressure, unfortunately, just getting KO'd there. Going first, so we couldn't even get an attack off, really. Or multiple attacks off. Yeah, I think we're just going to have to wait. And hopefully we draw into like an Erica's next turn. But he probably is just going to Cyrus up and KO us this turn. He's going to Rare Candy up the, is this Rampardos? No, it's just another Garchomp. Also kind of terrifying here. We haven't seen the Cyrus yet, but he does play 2 copies of Cyrus, so, you know, there is that. Yeah, never mind. He just has it in the hand. Okay. Yeah, nothing we can really do there. Unfortunately, we were just kind of a turn behind. Could have been a little bit better. I'm trying to think. Maybe we could have just gone into Buzzwool and attacked that turn, but as we saw, he had the second Garchomp set up. So we definitely didn't play that game very well. I'm not going to lie. We misplayed, I think, like multiple times. But you know, to be honest, I was kind of hedging my bets, hoping that we wouldn't be staring down the turn 2 Garchomp. But theoretically, that should be a good matchup. If you play it correctly and you don't misplay, that should definitely be an advantage for you. Unfortunately, though, what we could have done is gone into Celesteela early on so that Pheromosa wouldn't have gotten KO'd on that second turn. And then we could have gotten multiple attacks off with Garchomp and then just KO'd with Buzzwool that turn. That definitely would have been much, much better. But hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You can't, you know, listen, we're new to this deck. This is a new deck. We're still figuring things out. Okay, we're leading off with Buzzwool and double Leaf Cape, which is very interesting, but actually not that terrible considering that we have Lusamine, actually. So we're also going second. So this is also a weird scenario where sometimes you just ride out with like just straight Buzzwool. You know what I mean? Maybe playing the mirror matchup here. We are. Okay. All right. Let's do it. let's just do it. All right. Now, the Thrash Metal does scare me a little bit. Kartana is pretty strong. It is just in general like a strong Pokemon. The Research off the rip is certainly pretty good. Let's see what we draw here. We draw Cyrus, 2 Cyruses actually, but we have no Pheromosa. So let's just go ahead, attach and Leaf Cape the active. I am going to bench this other Buzzwool because we have Lusamine in hand. We can theoretically just start kind of taking some KOs. Repel is also a card that could definitely see play in this deck. The thing is though, like Repel against a lot of the Ultra Beast decks probably isn't going to be that good, considering that they can just pivot back into whatever. But technically for that turn, you can, you know, force your opponent to bring in a Pokemon that's not the active Pokemon that you can attack this turn. He plays Pokemon Communications, which is interesting. I wonder what else he's maybe playing in the deck. I assume it's probably just Pheromosa. Now, some of these decks do play Kartana, and I think Kartana is also just a totally fine Pokemon. I don't think it's bad at all. But I think Pheromosa is a bit better, and I don't think you really need Kartana in the deck. That's just kind of my own personal opinion, quite frankly. So, I mean, again, I could be wrong. Okay, so we get our Celesteela. That's totally cool. We're not going to put the Leaf Cape on this Buzzwool yet, mainly just because we probably are going to wait for Beastite after we KO this Kartana. Our opponent could, of course, like do some crazy shenanigans here. He could Lusamine, but we have our own Lusamine in our hand as well. So theoretically speaking, we should, I guess, have somewhat an advantage just being like a turn ahead on the energies. We're going to get Guzmud, but that's probably honestly not that big of a deal anyway, because we're going to be taking 40 damage here regardless. So we were going to get KO'd, you know, kind of no matter the scenario. So it's really no big deal. Really, it's going to come down to whoever draws like their red or their beast or their Beastite. That is certainly going to be pretty good. Theoretically, though, speaking, he is going to be able to hit for 140 if he does KO Buzzwool. So there is that for sure. The Erika's is kind of cool. I don't know if it really matters, but I guess we could just play it just to play it. So let's just go ahead and do that. We could actually Leaf Cape to bring us back up in range. But I don't know if I want to Leaf Cape the active this turn is really the only thing. The upside here is we can't take a KO without big beating this turn, which is pretty cool. Do we Leaf Cape the active? Honestly, I am going to re-Leaf Cape the active because Beastite is still in the deck. So we're just going to go up to 140. I know theoretically speaking that he can still KO, but I think this is still better. We can KO with Punch here. And with Erika's and Leaf Cape, Buzzwole, man, grass is just crazy, right? Having 140 HP after both of those turns is just kind of nuts. So yeah, I mean, he could have Lusamine in hand and still get an attack off, but unless he's got Beastite, even if he has Beastite, he can't actually take a KO here. So that's somewhat important to note. He goes into Celesteela. That's probably the correct play, just buying some time here. Definitely a play that I kind of agree with. He is actually just going to immediately go into Buzzwole, which meant he probably top decked Pheromosa, I would think. We have Cyrus, so it's really not, I'm not like super worried about anything right now. So here comes the Lusamine, so that means he can't red in the same turn, but he can big beat. So that is certainly somewhat good for him, for sure. Okay, so the Beastite comes down. That's a bit scary, actually, because, well, he doesn't have any KOs yet, but that'll be scary on the following turn, right? Definitely a bit scary on the following turn. We kind of hope that he doesn't have Cyrus. Now we could, oh, research, okay. So what could we do here? We could manually retreat, just set up the second Buzzwole. Definitely something we could do. We don't have any way to take a KO this turn. So we could burn our Lusamine to do that. Or we could just attack, you know, kind of whittle him down because we have Cyrus. So honestly, I kind of think just attaching here to the bench and then just staying in and just getting some damage off is probably going to be the best case scenario. Yeah, we draw red and we draw Beastite. So also pretty good. Let's just go ahead, Beastite the benched Buzzwole. And yeah, I think we're just going to big beat. We're just going to hit him. Honestly, we have Lusamine in hand. So, you know, no matter the scenario, we should be in a fairly good spot. Honestly, unless he Erika's and heals us up, we could Cyrus it up. We could also just like play Lusamine and then KO whatever. Now, what we might see if he has a second Lusamine is he's going to set up a second Buzzwole, which honestly would be really, really bad for us for sure. But then we also have Cyrus. So yeah, he's going to go into this Buzzwole. Probably has a second Lusamine, I would imagine. If not, he can actually just KO with Punch. But yeah, okay. So he's going to set up the second Buzzwole. That's totally fine. We're still in a winning position here, so no big deal. Unless he like plays Potion or whatever. The 2 Lusamine is certainly really good. I'm not trying to discredit playing 2 Lusamine. It certainly could be better than playing 1. I just think most of the time you don't need 2 Lusamine. But honestly, it might be more worth running than like something like a Pokemon Center Lady because I don't know how much poison is going to be in the metagame. Now, we would lose here, theoretically, if we didn't have Beastite, right? Or if our opponent, you know, either way, we could have lost here. But no, we're just going to Cyrus up the old Buzzwole and then just KO with Punch. So, yeah, Punch being somewhat relevant. It is certainly can do damage, right? We're doing 40 with Beastite, so, I mean, listen. It's certainly some damage. We win the mirror match. In fact, the only, I guess, game that we lost so far in this video was a game that we definitely should have won against Garchomp, but you can't play them all perfectly. Buzzwole, certainly just incredibly strong. Let's get one more game to showcase this. We've just been yapping all video. I'm just excited to have like a new deck. I think it's pretty fun. I think that the deck itself is pretty self-explanatory. Certainly going to take a little bit of time, at least for me, whenever new decks come out. I certainly don't play them very properly at all. This video is going to have a lot of misplays, honestly. But it's tough. Like when you're recording and you're playing games and you're trying to explain things and you're trying to like make the right plays, it's actually fairly difficult, honestly. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty of misplays in this video. There typically is whenever I do gameplay videos, and you guys always let me know down in the comments, which, you know, is totally cool. You know, you guys can feel free to let me know where I misplayed, which I'm sure we did several times here in this video. Okay, we're going against Greninja, and we're going first. I think Greninja is still so good, honestly. We're going to research first. Typically, we want to do that because our whole deck is basic Pokemon. So we're going to increase the odds of us finding basic Pokemon. We have Pokemon Center Lady and Erika's, so that's actually kind of fine. I like the healing cards in the face of a second Pheromosa. I don't mind the healing cards in the face of a Greninja, that's for sure. We're just going to attach this. We could bench the second Pheromosa, but I think for now we're not going to. You know, Pokecom actually could be pretty decent in this deck as well, now that I think about it, right? In a scenario like this, we could calm away our second Pheromosa and guarantee that we get, you know, either a Buzzwole or, you know, a Celesteela, so it could be pretty decent. Yeah, you know, I'm trying to think like, oh, okay, the Misty comes down. Okay. It's Tails. That's good for us. I mean, I don't know if that really mattered, to be honest with you, right? Greninja just attacks for 2. He's going to do 10 here. We're safe from getting KO'd from Greninja regardless next turn, which is pretty good. Let's see what we top deck. We top deck a Beastite. That's not going to be super useful for us. Let's just go ahead and attach and attack. Nothing too you know, crazy here. Just doing 20. You know, just a couple of guys, just doing a couple of damage. Nothing too crazy here. Turn 2, Rare Candy Greninja is probably coming right now, which, you know, typically is the case, right? Your opponent always has it. They always have the combo. Drink break. Yeah, take another one. Yeah, I told you. It just, you know, that's how it goes, honestly. We're playing Wugtrio. Yeah, you know, I mean, the format is still the format, right? I mean, no matter how you slice it, Rare Candy turn to Stage 2 Pokemon is still going to be a thing. There's no way around it. It's just going to happen, you know? It's just the reality, I think, of Pokemon Pocket right now. That's certainly a bit tough. Okay, this is awkward. This is a very awkward position. I kind of feel like we have to research, unfortunately. But if we research, then we can't heal, and then he can just KO with Water Shuriken this turn. So, I mean, I think, honestly, we're just going to research and then hope that we draw into, like, another Pokemon here. There's Pokeball and another Leaf Cape. So, I mean, that's fine. We don't have Lusamine yet. What do we Pokeball for? A Celesteela. Okay, so no Buzzwoll yet. 6 cards in deck with both Buzzwoll, so that's certainly something. I am actually just going to go ahead and do one of these numbers. And I actually think we're going to just start... well, what do we want to do here? Oh, it's kind of a tough thing going on, isn't it? I'm just going to Leaf Cape this Pheromosa. A lot of supporter cards that are not very useful to us at the moment. I think I actually am just going to attach to the Celesteela. We might get carried by Celesteela this match. It is what it is, right? Let's just jump loose, do some more chip damage. Theoretically speaking, I mean, like, we're not in an awful position. We're just not in, like, a good position, right? But, you know, we could always just draw into Buzzwoll and Lusamine, which are 2 cards that are still in the deck. There's the Wugtrio, which I am absolutely terrified of, and he's just going to go ahead and pop off a research. So our opponent is cruising right now, has 10 cards in the deck, and just has, like, basically a full board state setup, which is kind of, you know, a little bit sad to see. He's going to definitely just, well, ping the active. Again, we didn't really have any way around that, honestly. But what we can do is just bring in Pheromosa and not get KO'd, which is certainly pretty good. Certainly pretty good. Yeah. This honestly, like, if we're being honest with you, this will probably come down to us flipping heads with Celesteela. Oh, there's the Buzzwoll. Okay. All right. I mean, that's something. I think what we have to do, though, is unfortunately just attach to Pheromosa still. Right? I think we do. Now, we can attach and, well, Arceus, we still get KO'd, right? Unfortunately. I guess we could Cyrus. Yeah, I'm actually going to play, like, a defensive little Cyrus play here. And either force him to discard an energy or not attack next turn. Kind of seems like our best bet here, I'm not going to lie. So let's just jump loose here. Yeah, we're definitely stalling. We're very much hoping for the Lusamine here off the top deck. This, again, is a scenario where we definitely need Lusamine. So, you know, I'm thinking maybe 2 copies of Lusamine might be better than Dawn. I think it kind of acts as like a similar card, but maybe it's just more useful. He's going to Pokecom here. He did attach to the active, which means he's probably going to stay in and not attack. I don't know if that's the best play for him. We have Beastite in the hand, though, so, I mean, theoretically speaking, you know, we could pop off here. A second Froakie comes down, and he's going to Irida. Oh, geez, Louise. Okay. I mean, that's actually not bad. It's not terrible, I guess. I mean, it's not good. No, I'm not going to lie. So if we don't see the Lusamine here off the top deck, we are probably toast. But Beastite, Lusamine, Buzzwoll would be nuts here. Okay. All right. We're definitely in one of these types of scenarios now. I think we have to just PCL the active because we're going to get KO'd regardless, right? So, he's all out of healing. I guess what we should do is just PCL the active just so we don't go down to a Water Shuriken. I guess maybe we could have Arceus to, like, get out of one of these thresholds, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. I am actually going to attach to the Celesteela. Or is it better to attach to Buzzwoll? We can't even attack next turn regardless, right? Unless we draw the Lusamine. And if we do, we can set a Buzzwoll in 1 turn. So I'm actually just going to... We've already committed to the Celesteela. So yeah, we're just going to do that. And then we're just going to jump loose. And I guess we'll just target the Froakie now. Honestly, no reason to target the Greninja. Well, we'll probably do target the Greninja because he's probably going to go into it, right? We do have Cyrus in our hand, so it doesn't actually... None of that matters, but... Anyway, very funny game here. We could just get absolutely blasted. He could just do 150 to the Buzzwoll. That would be very bad. He attaches to Froakie. Might have been a misplay. I think he forgot that he needed 3 energies on the Wugtrio, so now he can't attack again. That's I think a misplay. I think he's noticing now that he attached to the wrong Pokemon there. Here comes the Water Shuriken. Oh, okay. Lusamine, where are you? 4 cards in the deck. That would be pretty cool to draw it right now. But that's the fun part about Buzzwole, is it can always pop off. No Lusamine, again, still. At this point, honestly, I think we do just kind of go into Celesteela, and we just hope we can KO here. So let's let's flip some coins, guys. Let's do it. Yeah. We don't need to retreat. We have Ultra Thrusters. Let's do it. All right, Celesteela, put in work here, my man. Make it happen. We're gonna play red, and we're gonna do 120 right now with Celesteela. We'd have to do is flip heads. No worries. I'm gonna bench the other one. And I guess in case we get Mars or whatever, I'm just gonna, I guess, put Beastite on the Buzzwole. All right. Let's see it. Let's see some Moon Baton. I talked smack about Celesteela, and I apologize. If you flip heads here, I take back everything I've ever said about you. Let's go. All right. Shout out to Celesteela, just coming through. 120. KO in the Wugtrio. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's pretty funny. He can't even actually, I mean, he could Cyrus and KO this, but yeah, look at that, guys. Celesteela putting in work. Oh my goodness. All right, second research. We got 3 cards in deck. If Lusamine comes out, we obviously win, but I'm down to just flip more heads, honestly. I don't even care. I really don't. I assume he's going to target the... All right. Second Greninja comes out. Sure. Okay, so Pheromosa goes down here actually now, considering that there's 2 Greninjas. Oh, and he's going to... Okay, all right. All right, chill out, dude. This is nuts. We really do need Lusamine here. We really do. 3 cards in deck. Honestly, if we just have top deck Lusamine, if we just had drawn it over the last couple of turns, this game would have been over. But yeah. Oh, he's gonna target the active. Interesting plays, considering we have Erika's in our hand. I don't think this is the correct play from our opponent, actually. I guess it doesn't really matter, because if we have Erika's, we can just heal either of them. He's going to target the active, so that means we probably just Erika's this next turn. Hope that he doesn't, like, top deck a Cyrus or whatever. Lusamine. Oh! So close. So close. All right, let's attach to Buzzwole. I guess we play... Well, that's the thing, is, like, we have to Erika's this turn. Because we could Cyrus and then just try to take the KO here, but then we lose next turn if we don't, right? Actually, technically, we don't lose next turn if we don't heal, right? Unless he's got Cyrus. Huh. Right? I mean, he can only do... So he can KO Celesteela, and then we have to go into something else, but then he can't KO it, right? So... Sure. I think I'm right, unless he just top decks a Cyrus or something. But anyway, let's just do it. Let's just make it happen here. 2 in a row. Celesteela. Come on, baby. Let's go. Let's do it. Oh, no. All right. That's fine. If he doesn't top deck a Cyrus here, then, you know, we're okay. Although he probably did just top deck a Cyrus, I'm not gonna lie. He hasn't even played one yet. Oh, no, it's Giant Cape. That's fine. Okay, so as long as the last card in our deck isn't our Lusamine, then we should be able to win, I think, is what's going on here. He's going to kill the active for sure. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm just going to go into Buzzwole. We actually have Dawn, so theoretically we can just win next turn even if we don't Lusamine. So there is that. What is this game? What is going on? I have no idea what's happening. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I think we're safe, right? Oh, no. I mean, I guess, yeah, he doesn't have any cards in hand. So we would have lost to like a Cyrus or a Guzma, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, we have Dawn in hand. So there you go. I guess it kind of I mean, honestly, if we just had it was the last card in our deck. Lusamine was the last card in our deck, but it's okay. We've got like Lusamine, but kind of worse. Like we have Lusamine at home, which is Dawn. And we have Beastite, so we can hit for 140. So there it is. Shout out. Let's go. Buzzwole's insane. I would probably recommend just playing 2 copies of Lusamine. Honestly, I mean, I think in general, like technically Dawn is really good for like the scenarios where you don't have a Pokemon that gets KO'd, right? But I mean, most of the time you're going to want to use that card maybe mid to late game. And your opponent will probably already have a point taken, right? So I would say 2 Lusamine is probably better in the deck than Dawn, I'm not going to lie. If there's one thing that I've kind of learned from this video is that probably just play 2 copies of Lusamine instead of Dawn. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, right? Just draw your Lusamine. Don't have it be the bottom card of your deck. All right, guys. There it is. Probably a lot of misplays in this video, so comment below about my misplays. But one thing is for sure, honestly, is that Buzzwoll is a really, really strong deck. In my mind, probably the strongest or best new deck that's come from ED Crisis. An otherwise kind of fun set. Honestly, I think the meta will be very interesting over the next couple of weeks. I think that things were fresh enough, honestly, at the end of last format, and all of these new cards should throw at least somewhat of a wrench in the format to make things still interesting for the next couple of weeks. So there it is, guys. Shout out to Buzzwoll. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one. We'll see you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for all of the future videos that we have coming up, especially videos regarding what decks to play for ranked battles because the new ranked season does start soon. We also have some large online tournaments this weekend, which we should get some really good data from. So anyway, guys, yeah, there it is. Peace out. Have a good one. We'll see you guys later. And yeah, bye.